that any of you have done that. Have any of you started a business before?
Yeah.
Small business, started a business, and are currently running one?
Yes.
Okay. No? So 2 of you are currently running a small business. Okay, fantastic. So those of you that haven't, whether you sign up after you've read that, listen to that lecture, maybe not. And then on Thursday I want to cover a couple more. So let's get, so a couple of housekeeping things. I've got to give you the emergency story because you might have it. I can't do the sound effects as effectively as I should, but if we get a beep, 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 we don't leave. Beep, beep, beep just means get yourself ready because we're about to get a whoop, whoop, whoop. The whoop, 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 I think it goes a bit like, no, I won't practice. But when you hear the whoop, 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 you'll know it's whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
When we hear that, we've got to leave. That means in a night, it's usually not a drill. That means something's on fire, we should get out of here. So follow me because I'll be the first one out. No. There's a fire escape at the end of the floor, but if there's no class down there, we can't get through the door. So probably the most prudent one to go is the lifts there. Just to the left of the lifts is a fire escape. That's where we should go down. When you get to the bottom and out into the out of the building, we should go back towards the big tree, the green space. Head for that big tree. I'll take the roll book, and hopefully you're all there, so I don't have to come back in and find any of you. Don't use the lifts when it's on. If you do leave the building, don't come back in again. These are all important safety things, but don't take it as an opportunity to say, oh great, class is over, I'll pick our phone, because we actually think you're probably still in the building somewhere, and that could be very bad. So please make sure I get you off the roll. After that, and I know you're safe, then I'm happy that you take off. But so just be aware, if we get a whoop, 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 just understand you're probably going to head for that lift, go to the left, down the stairs, and go onto the tree, and it gets set up. I think that's all we have to worry about emergency signal. Oh, the assembly point is the tree, please. Your safety is number one, which is why I need you to sign another piece of paper so that I don't get sued. Oh no, it's okay. Maybe that paper will be enough. Yeah, look, your safety is really important to us, and that's all sorts of safety. So if anyone's a bit worried about walking to their car or anything like that, we've got security on campus 24/7. If you know, today you couldn't get close and you parked 3 blocks away, you know, you can actually ask security to help you get there if you're concerned about your safety. The good news is that the car park's available from 5 o'clock. The boom gates come up, so you can park underneath the building pretty much. Just don't park anyone in after 5, because you're likely to be parking in a teacher who's working late, yeah? And you can imagine how they feel when they've got to walk this campus trying to find the idiot that parked them in there. And quite often they're in my class, because you see the RA teacher come in and you go, oh, I'm in trouble.
So when you get into the parking downstairs?
Maryvale Street is the best. If this is constantly full, there's another car park entrance that comes in after the bridge. Glenelg Street, just after the railway bridge, there's another car park. Unfortunately, they're not connected, so you've got to choose which one to come into. This is the best one because it's underneath our building, but you can get the Glenelg one if you find that Tuesday and Thursday nights can be quite busy. So just see how we go with that. Toilets are just straight out the door. That brown door you see straight through there, that's the toilets, men's, women's on the left. Again, if people need to leave the class, you do not have to. Please, can I leave? You know, you just leave. You know, if you, I'm not sitting here. You're not offending me by getting up and leaving. You know, I'm just going to carry on without you. I get paid whether you're sitting there or not, so I just don't care. So no, just look, just leave for whatever reason. You don't even have to tell me why you're going. Just go. Mobiles, like I've got, are still on. Best to have the you can leave the mobiles, obviously, if you can put it on some sort of vibration or something really good. Or I'm happy that mobiles stay on, just like you would in any situation. If it rings, just answer it outside rather than sitting there going, yeah, sure. Okay. So understandably, we all need our mobiles on because we need to be connected, but just try and do it in a way that's least disruptive, which means answering it outside would be great. strict rules on smoking. It's out government property. There's strict rules on, so I thought, what have I done with my day? There's strict rules. You can't smoke anywhere on the property. Anywhere that's a dotted line that's a government property, you can't smoke. So that means you've got to be on the street, physically on the street. The best place is outside the church, I think, isn't it? Yeah. The church, that seems to be where everyone gathers. So the churchyard is the place to smoke. Everywhere else you're not allowed to. Apparently they're not that upset about it. But yeah, there's a little church up on the corner there, and all the smokers of the campus hang out around there. So, but look, it's as long as you're off our property, and I think that's just on the footpath. If you can get off on the footpath, that's good. So not downstairs, no, in the gardens, no. You've got to be right off onto the streets. Parking, as I said, the boom gates come up automatically at 5. So you can come in through Glenelg over there, or Maryvale, just downstairs here. Guys, if you can sort of park away from the building and leave the girls to park under the building, that would be really good. Refreshments, like I say, that's all part of the cost. Actually, it's not. But anyway. But if you're going to get it every week, all right? Because I want to enjoy my night, I really enjoy these nights, and one of the keys to enjoying that, I find, is just making sure everyone's happy. If you go and have a banana, maybe you'll feel a lot better. Okay, so it's adult learning. This is not, like I say, this is your learning, and I'll talk to you a little bit later about you've got to take responsibility for your own learning big time. I can facilitate the learning. I can give you some insights. I can guide you in certain ways, but if you're not committed to this learning, if you don't become a participant in it, then you're not going to get value out of it. And so all I ask is that you show the same respect as you would in any sort of adult company. As long as you follow that rule, basically everything else works out. Yeah, I see myself as a facilitator. I'm the hungriest learner in this room. I'm learning every day. I'm learning in the morning. After class, I will go home and learn. I'm an avid learner, and that's because we have to be. So this age that we're in now, it's changing underneath us like quicksand, or a conveyor belt. It's changing so fast. We've just got to be adapting to it, and I'm trying to keep up with the change, and it's incredible, the changes that are happening. And most of that's been brought about by the internet. And so, I don't like to see myself as a teacher as such. I mean, I do teaching, but you're all teachers. We're all teachers. That's the new world that we live in now. That you've all got knowledge to share. And so I see myself more as a facilitator. I'm going to facilitate the learning. You guys are going to be participants, not necessarily students. And I'm looking for you guys to be co-contributing. I'll talk about that in a minute. So that's our campus. We're here, big green dot. Parking here and parking up over there. So we're here. Smokers, there it is, outside the church. Perfect place. You could probably have your sins heard and all that sort of stuff. Well, you get it all, a package deal, I think. 7-Eleven. So it's pretty cute that we have a 7-Eleven underneath us. So, we're going to have a break, usually about 7:30, around that sort of time, or whenever we get hungry, but probably about 7:30. So if you need to have a break, hang out till then. And certainly 7-Eleven is available if there's stuff that I haven't got, but tell me what you're buying and I'll try and get it for you next week. But 7-Eleven is just straight down to the basement, and then down to the basement, hook around to the left, and you'll find the 7-Eleven. It's open 24/7, I think. Car park entrances there. We have 2 cafes, so you've got to go back into the campus along the education pathway, which is what this thing is. And there's 2 cafes, a Merlot's and just another Espresso. The coffee's okay, but it'll keep you awake. And they have food there, so if you I don't think they're open late at the moment, but as soon as we get wound up, probably by next week, they're usually open until about 7 or 8 o'clock, or usually after we get started anyway, at 6 o'clock. So if you need to go and have a meal there or something, that's there. We have a library. which is again in that same sort of precinct. The library has pretty long hours as well. It goes till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So if you need to make to get access to anything from the library, you're more than welcome. And that's our meeting point down here on the. There's a big tree here, and that's where we meet. Okay, so have you guys got laptops, all that sort of stuff that you might want to bring? Yeah, you might find it of value. Just if it's still getting boring, at least you can go and watch some like Game of Thrones or something like that to keep you going. I do have a little. Yeah. I was meaning to do this. I probably should send this out to you. Again, I've been caught out. Does anyone know that they're going to need to log on here? Does anyone? What I'll do is I'll leave them on the corner there. And if you think you're going to log on, that's the instructions on how to do it. Yeah. So I think what we've got to do first is we might have to, if you leave it till Thursday, it would be good, because on Thursday we have to go onto the computer and do your first password. So your first password is your date of birth, day, month, quarter of the year. That gets you onto the system. You then change the password, and then you can access the Wi-Fi. So obviously we're not going to try and do it tonight, but on Thursday you will be able to access your Wi-Fi after we've logged into the computers and change your password, all right? So don't try and get in early, because you might find that it's just a bit of a disaster. Those that missed out, I'll bring a whole lot more on Thursday. So that's what. But car park we know about. Library has got databases, e-learning centres. When you go over there, it's a 3-story library, quite a wonderful resource library. A lot of digital stuff they've got. They get access to stuff that you can't possibly afford. And so if there's stuff that you want to go and research and look up, that's a great place. We do have student counselling as well. There's a full range of services available on the website, and we also have ID. What did I do with my ID? Oh, how did you get that? How many? So I don't know if anyone wants to get ID, but there's certain times that you can get ID. It's a TAFE ID now, but like I say, we've amalgamated from, we used to be South Bank Institute until faculties of TAFE, and this just gives you the time. If anyone needs to get an ID, sometimes I don't know, it might help. Get your discount at the movies or something, I don't know. But yes?
Do you know, in the past when I did part-time studies, we weren't allowed my study enough hours to qualify for concessions?
Oh, just line up, pay the money and get it. I don't think it matters. You can get an ID. You can get an ID anyway. Whether you get the concession, well, that's up to other people. But so I'll bring some more of them on Thursday. So just in case it's not available all the time, but if getting an ID is important, we can do that for you as well. Yeah, if you need help, ask. It's really important for me that you guys have a really good experience, that you have a good learning experience, and if something's not allowing that to happen, ask me. I'll see what I can do to facilitate it. Tonight, I want to just talk about course structure, what it's like to start and run a business. We're going to do a little bit of a group activity. And our breaks, probably we'll go to about, we'll see how we go, but it's about 7:15, 7:30. Most nights, we're normally done by about 8:30, don't hold me to that, but around that, we don't usually go through to 9. I'm here till 9, and I usually leave that last half hour for people that want to stay back and chat about something personal, that you want to, look, I've got to make a decision about this, what do you think about that? As a government employee, which is what I am, I'm not allowed to give advice. Yeah, I can't say to you, well, this is what we should do. I'm not allowed to do that, but I can say this is what I would do. Now, if you're stupid enough to follow what I would do, well, that's your problem. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just saying this is what I would do. Yeah. So if you're happy with that, then we'll get along famously. But I'm not going to say to you, this is what you should do, because that's not my role. I don't I'm not allowed to do that. It puts the government at risk that here I am giving advice when that's not my job. My job is a role of teacher, but I can tell you if I was faced with that circumstance, this is what I would do. And I'll leave you to decide whether you think that's clever or otherwise. Yeah, so remember that. So I don't know, does anyone have buses to get tonight after this?
Yeah, trains and stuff.
Trains, yeah. So, you know, probably, look, I don't hold it, but I find my students at about 8:15, they're all getting edgy, looking at the door, and, you know, if you've got to do that, go for it. You know, if there's an early train, and if you leave here at 8:15, you get home an hour earlier, we'll go for it, you know. Most of the work, I hope that most of the work is done before we get to that. And what we do at the end is much more the one-on-one stuff, yeah? So, so if you're thinking that we're going to go all the way till 9 o'clock, no, you don't have to be. And in fact, you could leave any time you like. And like I say, if we're making sure that we're taping everything and we're recording everything, then hopefully, even if you're not here in person, you're still going to get good value out of what happens. Quick course overview. Okay, so we're doing 12 weeks straight now. We're having real trouble lining everything up. Someone who was that, you were showing me that our website doesn't actually show the exact match of what we're doing. Yeah. Has anyone else found that? Are we having trouble lining things up? With this disruption of the 13 campuses becoming one, we've had staff leaving, we've had new staff in place. It's a bit of a nightmare. So we're doing the best to cope with it, but a lot of the things aren't lining up. So tonight, I'm telling you, we're starting tonight on week 1, and we're going to go 12 straight weeks, 2 nights a week, 6 till 9 p.m, Tuesdays, Thursday night for the next 12 weeks. Is that okay? Is everyone comfortable with that? No one's throwing eggs or tomatoes? Everyone's happy with that? The Tuesday night is going to be held here, and I want to really make this a discussion night. I really want this to make an activities night. I really want this to be your night in the sense of engaged night. You know, there's a lot of smarts in this room, you know. If I was to sit down with each one of you, I'd soon discover that you're all very technically smart in your areas, or you're bringing a lot to this place. So I'm not sitting here thinking that you're someone that I shouldn't be tapping into. I should be tapping into. So we want to get your experience thrown in on the table as well. So and so because of that, we will probably, these 2 TED Talks that we're going to do, this isn't really a TED Talk, but you know what I mean, we will probably try and pre-tape 1 of them, 2 of them every week. That's what we want to get to. The reason for that is I want you to watch that before you come to the class, because that gives me another 20 to 30 minutes of discussion time. And I personally think on some of these topics, we're better off spending them discussing them than we are sitting there listening, yeah? Today, we've got to do this because we don't all know each other. But you know, that's going to go fairly quickly, and we need to be tapping into what you guys bring to the course. And I don't want to miss out on that resource. So, content, those of you that are actually managing a business now, even though it's called Cert 4 in Small Business Management, we actually don't teach anything to do with managing business. So if you need to cash in your enrolment, you know, so be it. I'll take the hit. It's okay. There's 2 ways we can teach starting Cert 4 in Small Business Management. One is the starting a business, and the other one is managing business. They're 2 incredibly detailed, difficult concepts that are hard to do in 12 weeks. We're better off just doing whatever justice we can in one of them and leave the other one to another course. So that's what we've done. So tonight, even though it says Cert 4 in Small Business Management, we are actually only teaching it from a start your own business point of view. So I want to make that very clear. I don't want someone getting to week 6 in the course and say, you haven't talked anything about MyOp, and you haven't talked anything about managing HR issues of my staff. Well, that's because if that's not involved in starting a business, we won't be talking about it. Yeah. You know, we can do a follow-up course for that, and we actually do Saturday mornings. You guys are invited. We do rapid skilling workshops where we cover that sort of management concept. What we do there is we put on a rapid skilling workshop. It's a 4-hour workshop, and it's about something that you do to run a business. We've done Excel, we've done MyOff, we've done project management, we've done strategic plans, we've done a whole lot. What else? Social media, how to develop a social media for your business. A lot of running your own business concepts are taught on the Saturday, and we get people from industry to come and teach. Yeah, you guys, while you're doing the course, will be invited to those ones for free. So normally they're $150, but you guys get an invite to those courses for free. So keep an eye on them. They're called rapid skilling workshops. So those of you that are thinking of wanting to do management of your business, well, they will be more useful probably than what you learn here. But even though you've started a business, yeah.
Is there information about those rapid skilling courses online?
It should be up online, but I don't think it is. We're having trouble getting everything up online, and what we do get up is not very accurate. But you just watch the, it's called Rapid Skilling Workshops. I help put them together as well, so I will know about, I think there's one coming up next month, or maybe actually later on this month. Project management, I think, is one. In other words, learning how to use project management. I usually facilitate the mind your own business, how to use that accounting software. And it's completely taught from a small business point of view. So I just want to make that clear, yeah? So I don't want to deceive anyone that you find out in week 6 that he hasn't talked to anyone about managing business, because we actually are just talking about starting a business. Is that okay? Everything all right? Thanks. We do have to have assessments. There's an award attached to this class, so we do have to have assessment. I'm trying to make the assessments as real as possible. I don't want to set you assessments that you do and then they get thrown in the bin after a year. I want to make very meaningful assessments. I've got some problems, and we'll see. Every semester I try and solve this problem. I don't quite get there. I'll have another go this year. A lot of you, to make it meaningful, you want to apply the learning to your own business. You know, that makes for very meaningful learning. But then, if you do that, I'm meant to take all that stuff and give it to TAFE, yeah, as part of the evidence of your assessment. So all that stuff you've worked on for your business actually doesn't become the property of TAFE, but I have to have it as evidence. So the way we try and get around that is that we run these group activities. And the group activities are the same thing you're going to do for your own business, but you apply it to a business that already exists. In other words, I might say, well, let's look at 7-Eleven. I think I'll probably do in a minute. What's their pricing strategy? And we might go down and sort of apply a pricing strategy to that. Then you go into the computer room and you will apply the pricing strategy to your business. Now, what you can share of your business, your online business, I'm more than happy to take. But if there's parts of it that are sensitive, you think, well, look, this is my idea I'm developing, I don't want you to have that, then that's fine. You don't have to share with me anything that's, that you think is of a confidential nature. You can demonstrate it to me. You can say, look, this is what I've done, Peter, so I can just observe and say, yep, you've done that. But I won't be actually asking you to hand that in as evidence. It is part of the assessment, but I won't actually be asking you to hand the stuff over, because I don't think it's fair. I find a lot of students are very reluctant to hand over all of their work to TAFE. But, you know, there's all that stuff sitting in a box. Who knows? Not that anyone here is going to run off with your idea, believe me. And, you know, I'm really too busy to be even remotely interested in the cafe that you guys want to open, because I've opened too many of them and I don't want to open another one today. So there's a couple of assessments. So the online component is I'm going to get you guys to start your business online. Yeah, I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So we're going to spend every Thursday getting you to start your business online. Now, if you don't have a business, that's okay. We'll create a fictitious one, or you can create a business that for a charity or something. Don't worry, we'll work around it. But those of you that actually want to start a business, and we're going to try and do that on every Thursday, and we're going to build it online first. So you'll be interested to see how that happens. We have knowledge tests. Every week we have a knowledge test. And it's the Ferrero Rocher Challenge. Here it is. The Ferrero Rocher. These are prized possessions. There's people that still remember how many Ferrero Rocher challenges they won. So we do it in group knowledge tests. So we've got one tonight, and we'll see how you go. We'll do that soon after the break or around then. So basically, it's a whole series of knowledge tests, and we make it fun. We make it gamed. You know, there's winning groups, and there's certain people that should be on the group every week, but because they really help. Whether you want to lose weight or not, I don't know. But, the knowledge test eventually gets to an online test at the end of the course, where you only have to get 100% to pass. That's the only requirement. But I'm sure you'll be fine. Are you worried? Remember, everything that's on the final test you've already covered in class, yeah? And it's an open book, so you've already got, you know. So if you've paid attention in class and if you've worked out the multiple choice in class, then you shouldn't have too much trouble. You do get 2 attempts. I haven't had anyone fail my knowledge test yet, so I'm sure no one here will fail that either. But you'll find how much, you'll find under that system how much you actually learn in terms of the knowledge that you need in this course. We're doing group activities. Every week we'll have 1 or 2 group activities, and these count towards your assessment. And they will be applying whatever I've talked about in the TED Talk, applying that to a known business, something that you can all argue about, we can go and kick and we can look at, and so we apply the learning to a known business, and then after that you apply the learning to an unknown business, which is obviously the one you're trying to build and trying to make happen. There will be individual tasks as well. This is one, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? Even just completing that survey is a form of assessment, that ability to be able to make that assessment. So don't worry, I'm pulling in all the assessments that I can from everything. You'll find that my assessments are fairly seamless, that you won't even know that you're being assessed, because I'm going to spend the next 12 weeks with you. I'm soon going to know whether you've got the capacity to, maybe you won't have the capacity to start a business, but you've done all the planning necessary to start a business. You've done all the thinking necessary. You know the concepts. You can actually talk to me, and we can chat about business models, and you know what I'm talking about. I can talk about subjective margins, and you know what I'm talking about. We talk about value proposition, and you understand what I'm talking about. At the moment, you just what you know about, and that makes sense because you haven't been introduced to these concepts. By the end of the course, they'll all make a lot of sense to you. We're not there yet. This is an interesting. This is an edgy thing. There's such things as lower order thinking. Yeah, like my cat, my dog around here. They follow me for food, and there's not much else. And then there's higher order thinking, and the guy called Blooms, an educator back in the 50s, 60s, came up and he said, actually, this is ranked. And it starts off, we need to be able to remember things, but that's actually the lowest level of using your brain to remember things. Is the lowest level of use of your brain. It's some use of your brain. You've got to remember where you put your keys, which I can never do. But remembering is very important, but it's just where it starts. From remembering, we get to understand. From understand, we apply, we analyse, we evaluate, we create. And this is called, the scaling of thinking. Too much of our education, sadly, has been here. Too much of it has been about writing notes and remembering, and then there's an exam and I've got to remember stuff. You know what, that's down here. We don't want to be spending our time down here. Where we want to be spending our time is here, creating, evaluating, making a judgment about things. So as much as possible in this course, I want to be at least into applying, analysing, evaluating, creating. I want to be spending the time we have there, which is why I'm going to put some of these talks online and get you to watch them before the class. And those of you that don't watch it before the class, guess what? The Ferrero Rocher challenge is beyond you, because the questions that you will face will be from the lecture. Yeah? So what a downer you'll be for your team if you haven't watched that thing. You will just be letting them down from the challenge. So, but look, the reason I'm doing, the thinking behind it, is to take some of this knowledge and understanding, move it into a more digital space that can be done without me around, so that I can spend the time talking to you about creating stuff, evaluating stuff, analysing, applying. I want to spend my time with you in that space, not down here. What do you mean by subjective margins? I don't want you asking that question in class. I want you to say, how would you apply subjective margins to a cafe? I want that sort of question, not what is it, yeah? So let's get that done as much as possible online so that we can spend more time here, okay? So I'm not opting out, I'm just trying to get maximum value for our time. Yes?
When would you be uploading that information so everyone should see it? Like what kind of link?
Are we streaming now? We're uploading. We're uploading now. Is that quick enough for you? So if you were at home.
You want us to preview before
Yeah.
the time.
Oh, that one.
So it will
Oh,
be
I see.
like what
Yeah.
kind of lead time? is that?
Yeah, knowing me, probably a couple of days. That's all you'll get. Only because it's this. This is the first time I'm going to do it. But yeah, look, I'll try and get a week ahead if I can. So if yeah, it'll probably be a couple of days. Yeah, but look, hopefully it's a 20-minute talk. You know, just click the button, put up with it for 20 minutes, get a feel for it, and then when you come in, we're going to discuss that. And even if you haven't watched it, it's okay. When you pick up in the discussion, you'll soon pick up what we're talking about. So it's not the end of the world if you haven't done it. But, yeah, as far as these ones go, you're actually getting this live. So if you're at home now, following us on Google+, you could be watching this live. Is anyone else connected in?
No, I made it private.
Oh, you made it private. Because it's gone out to the planet. There's everyone on the planet. Anyone on the planet can watch this as we speak now. It's pretty cool, isn't it? That's how technology is disrupting education, and we are certainly wanting to be part of that disruption. So there's going to be what they call the flipped classroom or the pre-learning. Flipped learning means that we try and get you to do that knowledge, the knowledge stuff before class. You know, so we're not spending a lot of time on the definitions and that. We're spending more time at the high level. I also want to create a co-creation. This is, co-creation. Who's uploaded a video to YouTube? Yeah, singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. You better send us the link. YouTube is just a platform, and they say, now you guys populate it, and that's what we've done. So YouTube has got all this content, it's all being co-created. They simply did the software that created the platform, and you guys provided the content. I want to do more of that. Every cohort, I get a little bit more successful with it, because a lot of you aren't used to an idea of learning by co-creating, but that's what we've got to get to. We need to learn. Someone says the best way to learn something is to teach it. And so I want to get you guys part of this, because that's the quickest way for you to learn it. When you start to, I'm going to create a space where you say, hey, I've read this really good article, and you share it with the class, and we'll all connect with it. Not when we're in class, we'll be on a Facebook group. I want to get some co-creation. I want to get some, hey, I found this really good thing. I want to get us onto Quora. I'll show you about those sort of things. But I want this to be a co-creation class. I want you guys participating in your own learning. I want to learn from you. Now that's a bit of a twist, isn't it? You paid all this money, and I'm the one that's going to do the learning. Well, that's how it is. Bad luck. Tuesdays, knowledge test discussions, group activities, a lot of that sort of stuff. There'll be more on that. Hopefully I'll get past. I'm going to try and get a few more people coming and talking to you too. People that have started businesses, I want to get them to come and start talking to you. So it's not me all the time. By moving me online, I can then spend the other time bringing other people in. So that's why I want you to embrace the idea of the pre-learning, because I think you'll find that I can do more with you on the times we're together. Thursdays, online application of your idea, co-creation feedback. That's where I'll be able to give you a lot of one-on-one feedback. Maybe we'll be doing a bit of talking, but mostly it's coming behind you and you're saying, well, this is what I'm looking to do, what do you think of this? So I'm looking forward to working with you individually on that. Social media. We're going to be on all these places. How many of you can recognise them? That one, I guess. Yeah. What else? WordPress? What's WordPress?
You can create you can blog and create
Beautiful.
your own website.
Yep, it's a blogging site. Anyone else?
That Quora?
What's Quora?
You sent us a link.
Ah, did I?
Yeah.
And you're the only one that opened it.
I must
Guys? Okay, Box. Well, let's go through it. Why do we want to get into social media? Because if you're serious about starting a business, you need to be in this space now. Every day you're waiting, you're missing out. You need to be building your profile now. You need to be either building your personal brand now. You need to be building your authority in the area that you want to establish business now. Not tomorrow, today. We're wasting time. You're missing out on opportunity. This thing is growing and you need to be part of it. We're going to help you on Thursday to be part of it. Start right there. So it's the real world. Every business needs it. So the quicker I can get you at least understanding these sites, yeah? I mean, we're on, I don't know.
Too many.
If I said 50, I don't think I'm exaggerating. I'm on 50 different sites in the digital space. Some of them were dead ends. Went on, tried them, no, didn't go. But I'm still there as a member. But these ones have come through as being successful, and there's more. But I think in this course, in 12 weeks, probably that's about all we're going to be able to get. Box is a shared course material, so I'm going to upload everything that you get tonight. This handout you got tonight, that will go up to Box as a document, and you'll be able to download it. I'll make you a member of Box, and I never cancel it, so it's yours. It's your resource forever. Yeah, I've never cancelled people's access to that, which is why I got to be careful about what I record. It's why I share this stuff in an open forum, because that means you guys can access it even at the end of the course. Because ultimately we want to create a community of practice, that way. And we want to stay engaged. A lot of my students still stay engaged. I mean, every week 2 or 3 of my past students are connecting with me, talking to me, coming and visiting me. So that's what Box is. Box, you can put all these files up, and then you guys go in and just download it, and it's always there. It's a resource. All the PowerPoints, everything that you get in the course will be up there. Facebook is obviously great for engagement. There's probably no better platform. Sorry, those of you that are worried about Facebook, and there's a lot to be worried about at Facebook, isn't there? Phil's always on to me about the security aspects, but it's a wonderful place for social engagement. Just getting notices out. Was that, sorry, Peter, where was this? Or is the class on this Thursday? Or is it computers this Thursday? It's all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of chatter that goes on. Great place for sharing ideas as well. So we're going to all get engaged on Facebook on Thursday. Not literally engaged. Cora, it's got to be one of the best online resources for startups. It is the best. It is the best. I'll give you some people to follow there. Unbelievable, like I say, I go on there and I've written 850 answers on this particular site, and I just learn. I just say, am I ready to learn now? Okay. I go to my feed, and it's just amazing stuff that you learn. And it's just based on the people I follow and the topics that you follow. That's what comes into your feed. And there's some really smart people there, really smart in venture capitalists. And it's a really great resource. That's why we've got to be there. WordPress and Weebly, we're going to probably be starting with Weebly. It's a very simple logging website to build. You'll find it's drop and play, and you'll think, oh yeah, this is great. So we're going to build a Weebly website starting, maybe we won't start this Thursday, but next Thursday. And then later in the course, I'm going to introduce you to WordPress, which is the best long-term software, but it's incredibly difficult to learn. So we'll leave that until you're confident and you're saying, Pete, give us more. I'll say, okay, I'll give you WordPress and give you some nightmares, because it's not easy. But it's not easy, but it needs to be done. And I think then Scoopit's what they call a curation site. This is an interesting concept, where you create things, curate, like a museum. A museum didn't create those products. They went and found those artifacts and they brought them. They curated them into a museum. That's what we do. Find the topic it is that you want to be an expert in and you want to sell to the world. Then we're going to curate the best articles about that, the best photos about that, the best YouTubes about that. We're going to curate them in one place, and then what happens is you start to get followers, and you become a bit of an authority in that area. And then once you become authority, people trust you. Once people trust you, it's easy to sell them stuff. So that's what it's all about. Everything is about a sales funnel, as you'll hear about in this course, and at the bottom is a $sign. So while we're doing stuff up here that doesn't look like we're making money, we are. We're just building the funnel. And then ultimately we'll have that dollar. And there's a lot of things that go into building that funnel. And these things are incredibly important for building your brand awareness, either for your business that you're building, or if not for your business, then at least for you, at least for your profile. We need to be working on these spaces. Are you okay? If you need to get a banana, we will in a minute. We'll have a break in a minute. Okay, there is an academic award attached to this. It's not going to be all fun and beer. Well, not sorry, beer, but hot breaks. But our emphasis is skill. Our emphasis is at the end of the course, you will have the ability to do things. Yeah. It's a bit like, what's the point of having a piece of paper that says you can play the piano if you can't play the piano? What's the point of it? You know, what's the point? I've got a piece of paper, yeah, but if you can't play the piano, what's the use? And so I don't want to have that. I don't want you to have an award that actually doesn't translate in your ability to do stuff. So our whole thinking is about giving you skills, not necessarily about giving you the piece of paper. And most of you that have signed up for this course have not done it because you said, wow, we're going to get a Cert 4 in business, you know. Most of you have done it for the skilling reasons, not necessarily the piece of paper. I have PhD people that do this course, you know. A lot of master's students, a lot of people with degrees, they're very, very common. But because a lot of that higher ed stuff, they actually don't concentrate on how to actually do stuff. Now, we know an awful lot about it, we just don't know how to do it. It's a bit like my boss, who's a PhD, a doctor, Dr. Richard Bowen, if you look him up. He's got an MBA, and he's got a fellow of the Australian Institute of Management. You know, he's all up there, you see. And he says, when I did my MBA course, I did the course in entrepreneurship. And this eminent professor came out and he taught us all about entrepreneurship and about, you know, how you go about, you know, innovating and starting businesses, and talked. And my boss got quite friendly with him and all that sort of stuff. And actually popped the question one day, so how many businesses have you started? And he says, well, none. I just studied it. And he goes, so you're no better than us. You know, you haven't started a business, we haven't started a business. And when he came here, what happened there? When he came here, and I told him that I'd started 30 different businesses, he goes, oh, okay. So you've got the real thing. So that's what we're going to be concentrating on, obviously, if we're doing not just the learning. I think that's just a, must have fixed something. Yeah, so we're not into piece of paper, we're into you know, it's hard to sort of break the skills that you need, but you know, we've tried to, I will try and put them into these sort of categories, which is a planning, we'll talk about marketing, we'll talk about finance, we'll talk about online. There's law shoved in there somewhere as well, all the legal things. We'll be covering a lot of that sort of stuff as well. So we'll be covering most, or just about all of it. The final qualifications is Cert 4 in Small Business Management. That's what it's called. It's what they call a nationally accredited award. So if you go to Perth, they know fully what you're on about. It's the same award in Perth as it is in Queensland. Even though it's TAFE Queensland that's giving you the award, it'll have a national symbol on it which says this is nationally recognised award. So just be aware of that. That's the award. These are our businesses. Remember I said every Thursday, or every time we do a group activity, it's not just a group activity about pie in the sky. We will actually, well, some of these are pie in the sky, but we will actually apply your learning to one of these businesses. Now you will be using a different business every time. So each time we break up into groups, I'll say, okay, you guys do cafe, you guys do handyman. So you apply, you come up with an elevator pitch for a handyman. You know, you come up with an elevator pitch for a personal trainer. So you'll be able to do is get into the mind of these sorts of businesses and start to see the learning from an applied point of view. Remember that applied, it's a little bit higher than knowledge and understanding. That applying, this is what we're trying to do. Ultimately, we want you to create stuff, which is the highest level, for your own business. That's what we want to get to. But we've got to do it in stages. And by doing the applied, we actually are building that, you're getting that understanding a lot quicker. Some of the concepts I'll talk to you about will actually go over your heads, you know. Like I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. I live and breathe this stuff. It's second nature to me. I just do it, you know, and I expect everyone else to understand what I'm talking about, and they just look at me and their eyes roll back and they've got no understanding of what I'm talking about. So I have to be a little bit careful like that. So what I try to do is just get you to apply it to something you already know, and then having applied it to what you already know, you should be able to then make the jump from that to applying it to something you don't know about, which is your own business. So they're our businesses. I've shoved in this one, Phil, this year. This is our business. E-learning is our business, so that's why I'm going to steal some of your ideas. I'm going to get you working. Every group activity, you'll be working on this one for sure, because that's going to help us with our business. Yeah. It's not completely like that, but it's close. What you know about entrepreneurs? This is what entrepreneurs do. They look for ways of benefiting all the time. How can this benefit me? How can I twist this so that I get something out of it? But usually it's a win-win. Usually it's, and getting that, I'll give you back. Look, grapes. I mean, what more do you want? Okay. Assessment. So again, that's an assessment. So I talked about your online profile. I'm going to call it. It's not going to be really your online business. Some of you might actually take it to an online business. In other words, you might take that website right through to actually publishing it and actually starting it. That might be your business. You know, I don't know. Some of you will say, no, I just want to play with it and not actually go to the commitment stage. Whatever. I'm going to call it an online profile, but you'll be showing me how you're engaging on social media and all that sort of stuff. So, individual tasks, these will come through. Oh, there is a presentation at the end of the course. Someone said that, you know, they did a survey of what people fear most. And right at the top is death, obviously. You know, we all fear death. But just underneath that was public speaking. Yeah. At the end of the course, we have a dinner. It's not in the course, it's after the course. So after the course, we book the restaurant over here, and we have a dinner where we invite you guys to do a 10-minute presentation on your business. Yeah. So it's a chance to sort of bring the whole of your course thinking to a sort of that pitch. You know, this is what we're going to do. So that actually counts towards your assessment. If you don't actually stand and deliver, because sometimes, sadly, we can't get everyone in on the night. I know you all want to go up there. If you don't all make it, as long as you do the PowerPoints for me, I'll be okay. So, but it is an opportunity for some of you to stand and say, this is what I'm going to do. You know, we talk about this next week about creating existence, and this is a very, it's a very, you know, it gets a little bit spiritual and spooky, but that's what you do. You know, when you create a business, you create the existence of something. You know, you can't tell me that Apple is not a real place, that BHP is not real, but every one of these things started with one or two people saying, let's go and do it. At the time, they laughed about it, you know, and they said, you know, is this real? Could we really pull this off? And now today, look what's happened. So those people created existence. They created the existence of something that didn't exist. And that creating a resistance, one of the most powerful things you can do is actually speak it. I'm not going to get too mystical right now, but when you start to say, this is what I'm going to do, it's amazing how your brain goes, oh, well, we've got to do something about that. While it stays as a thought, it just goes round and round and round and goes nowhere. But the minute you start to speak, the minute you start to create tactile things, the minute you create that logo, you start to create existence. And it's not long after that that a real thing emerges. And that's what I want to take you on, that journey of how to create existence. And so those of you that want to take the opportunity to create some existence for your business, I'm giving you one at the presentation dinner. The quicker you get in, the better, because then you can enjoy the food. While you're sitting there and you're number 10 on the list, it's pretty daunting. Okay, contact options. I'll have this PowerPoint uploaded to Box, so we'll probably get that Thursday. Maybe I'll just email it to you all tonight. But contact options, 8:30 to 9 o'clock, I'm available. I stay here sometimes till after 9, but obviously if there's something you want to see me about urgently, then I've always got that time at the end of the night. If you send me an email, usually I'm pretty quick with it. That's actually not that will find me, but there's a new, since 8 days ago, there's a new email address, but still that one will work. You can probably best to contact me by the online place. If you send me a message on Quora, I check Quora probably 4 times a day, so whereas I check my emails once a week. So, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of these places, if you send me messages, I'm there. That's my work number. I'm not always there. Like I say, I'm a casual teacher, so I'm not always there. Mobile, maybe you want to take that down. No rude messages at 2 in the morning, please. I have a way of cancelling your registrations. If you, a lot of participants, people want to email, text me if they're not going to be able to make it for the night. I really understand that, but you don't have to. I'm not offended that you can't make it for a night. There's obviously a good reason why you don't want to come and feast with me. But so you don't necessarily have to send me a text and say, I'm sorry, Peter, I can't make it. It's okay with the technology we've got now. Basically, you're still going to be able to tap into it. So a to-do list. Okay, will we get this in before you have a break? No, we'll have a break first. So we're going to do a group activity in a minute, and then the sign-on sheet, which hopefully you've got. Has someone got that sign-on sheet? Okay, great. All right, just make sure that doesn't get lost. I don't know. Questions? Go.
Are all the assessments in the evening?
Are all the assessments in the evening?
Or the last one? I just want to check.
We try and do this. If you're asking, do we do the assessments in class?